the driver, the big dog, the big stick. Now this is probably the most emotional club in the bag for every golfer. When we hit it well, it is incredible and it's a dream, but when it's bad, it is an absolute nightmare. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the one thing you never ever want to do with driver, and I'm going to get you hitting the ball longer and straighter than ever before. So typically what I'll see with golfers is they want to hit driver a long way, but they want to get the ball in play. So they'll get up with that first one and kind of go. That one's a big, shapy one out to the right. And even though the distance isn't awful at 190 and 204, no real accuracy in that shot. And they'll say, right, I know what was wrong there. My club face was open and I cut across the golf ball. So on the next one, they'll think, right, I need to get the club really kind of going on the inside. Let's go for that one. And actually I've hit that one right out the toe, which has gone really well. Path still way out to win. It's a very playable one though, isn't it that? And nice and long. So then the challenge is, most golfers go, right, that's it. That was the perfect shot. It was in play, it was pretty accurate. Maybe not as long as I wanted, but nice and accurate. So let's go for that again. And we can see that one viciously curving out to the right. And the feedback, because you're not getting those numbers from TrackMan or whatever, is right. Okay, so definitely feel I'm swinging more inside, even though the numbers showed they didn't. So then they think, right, okay, so now it must have been my club face. I remember watching all those videos, maybe some lessons, where it's club face control. So they'll make that next one and they'll try and close that club face down. So swing it on the inside, close that club face. With a great strike, but very, very left. And I squared my club face up, so the distance was decent there. So now we're having a dilemma, aren't we? We've had that weak one to the right. We've had a very good one down the middle, which is weird because the other swings haven't felt loads different, but then we've had another big slice and we've had a big pull. So then with that final one of these 5, the challenge is you kind of feel like you can't close the club face because the ball goes left. You're definitely swinging on the inside, but are you? The numbers are showing not. And it could go right, left, or straight. So it almost becomes either set up and hope. And that one's kind of got back where I wanted. But we can see the club's low point's been ahead of the golf ball, so I've hit down. It's been in play though. Swung out to in with an open club face and 222 yards. So let's just look at those 5 shots as a dispersion and see how accurate they were overall. So we can look, there's one near the centre line, but there's one way left, one long and right, and a couple of very, very short right ones, but just no real control on those shots. Right, so for me, what was causing the issue there? Yes, maybe strike was a little bit different, but we saw some very big out to in, path numbers, club face control all over the place. And I think most of that comes around because golfers do understand that they're swinging out to win with an open club face, but often the way they try and fix it is wrong. So with most golfers, with that first one, it was kind of not great. So by trying to take the club more on the inside and swing more from the inside, actually what they do is they drag the club back on the inside, rotate the club face open like that, and then at the top of the backswing, they're incredibly flat. Now from that position, the only thing you can do to get back to the golf ball is to throw the club out. Then that open club face produces the cut because a big out to win, or from there they square the club face up and that's that huge pull. And comment below, those first few shots I hit, is that very typical of how you drive the ball? And as a result of that, does driver just go back in the bag? You know, and you think it's too dangerous. You know, I love to hate driver, but I just can't use it because gets me in trouble. The good ones, I don't really know what I've done, so it's never coming out. So the first thing we're going to work on is, instead of feeling that we're trying to take the club back on the inside, because if I kept the club face good and swung really flat, I just can't really get any further back than that. So what we're going to work on is, as you move the club away, almost like the hands and wrists don't get involved at all. So you're just going to turn your shoulders so that the club head almost stays outside the line of your feet, and the face is very much at the same as spine angle. So it's just a very quiet takeaway, which you'll see is nice and wide, and then you can keep turning to the top. And what you'll notice straight away, the difference is, yes, the club, but also my shoulders. So with the old way, see how my shoulders are now very, very flat? As I do this movement, there's still more tilt to my shoulders. Always interesting when your watch speaks to you. So we're going to feel that we take the club away and then have a bit of tilt into the shoulders. Now from here, it's much easier then, as you drive towards the target, the club can shallow, make you swing more from the inside, get you hitting up. So I've also gone from a pink tee to an orange tee, because most golfers who cut across the ball hit down and sky the ball. So we're going to have a couple little practice swings, just getting that feel. So not a lot going on in the initial part of the takeaway, and then a little bit more tilt in the shoulders, and then drive. So I'm going to get the feeling, 5 shots. Going to look at, obviously I've still got to do my end of the bargain here. We're going to look at how the distance changes, but also does that dispersion tighten up, because there's not as much difference between face and path. So that felt great. Just a tiny bit of shape on that one, but never mind that. We actually saw a real pickup in distance as well there. So get that feeling, and you can see my little waggle is I tend to want to do that, something I used to do a lot as a kid. So nice and quiet, tilt the shoulders. And it just feels so easy to get the ball in play. The ball might shape around a little bit, and you might see some numbers if my strike's a little off centre, that it'll look a little bit more open or a bit more closed. But as a general rule, because my path and face aren't really much away from straight, shouldn't see a huge amount of shape in these shots. And it just feels, like I said, so simple to hit good shots. Now, my challenge is, I think golfers always think it's distance or accuracy, but if by doing this movement and delivering the club better and striking it more consistently, you're going to transfer energy from club to ball better, because it's not as much of a glancing blow. And as a result, yes, you've got more control, but you've also got more distance. And again, love that. And if I'm being honest, this might be my new swing thought with driver. So let's have one last one. Really focus on nice and quiet. Get the hands going up, so a bit of tilt. Then I can drive towards target. And again, not dead straight, but very playable. So those last 5 shots were incredibly different to the first 5. So let's look at the average for those 5. Then let's look at the dispersion and see how much better it was than the opening tee shots. So we can see, even though the club face was slightly open, we can see not really much side-to-side movement on the shots. Club path completely different slightly from the inside. Low point now 5 inches behind, and 250 carry and 274 total. So if we look at the dispersion there, it looks decent. You know, I think it's always hard when you look like that, but all of those fairly close together. But when we look at side by side, absolutely no comparison. So much more accurate, so much longer, and absolutely transform your game if you can implement those movements with driver. So I don't think that's an overstatement to say that that would absolutely make you play a different game if you can go from the first lot of drives to the second lot of drives. But the key is, most golfers try so hard to swing from the inside, but do it in the backswing and open the club face up, which makes it virtually impossible for them to time everything correctly on the way down. So if you can get that takeaway a little bit more simple, as I explained, it's going to help you swing the club completely differently into impact, tighten up that strike, hit the ball further, hit it more accurate, and absolutely drive it better than ever before. So guys, hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, like it and share it. Comment below and I'll get back to as many people as I can. There's a video just there that I think will help you with your game. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.